So today for Yin Yoga we're going to focus on our groin and our hip flexors and also the lumbar region. So we're going to do 3 exercises very slowly with control with the breath, and we're obviously going to do both sides of those exercises. So it will probably be about a 15 to 20 minute class. Okay, so let's get ourselves prepared. We're going to go down onto our knees. So I'm going to do this from the side so you can see. So this is saddle pose. We're going into the basic saddle pose. So our knees can be close together. We're going to, if we can, sit right back onto our feet if that's comfortable for you. If that's not comfortable, you can take your feet to one side if that feels better. That stresses maybe a bit more of a stretch through the quads here. But if you can, come on and sit comfortably on your feet. This also gives your feet a stretch onto the floor. And you can have your knees wider apart if that's more comfortable for your pelvis, for your back, or together. So I'm going to keep my knees together because I get a better stretch that way. So I'm just going to sit, I'm going to draw the tummy in, we're going to work with the breath, we're going to close our eyes, and we're going to stay in this posture for around about 3 to 4 minutes. So close the eyes, make sure you're comfortable, your hands can be softly on your quads or by your side, just on the floor, if that feels better for you. So whatever feels nice. You can also have your hands facing upwards with palms open and just relax. So make sure there's no stress through the shoulders. Can you just push your chin back a little bit just to get that length in the back of the neck? And breathe. And get that feeling that someone is still pulling your head with a piece of string to give you good posture. So start to have a think about the breath here. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Try to make your breath longer as it comes in than when it goes out. So we'll start in a minute to do a count for the breath, but draw that tummy in too, so have that gentle engagement in the lower abdominals, so belly button towards the spine, maybe drawing up the pelvic floor as well, giving support to the muscles while you sit and stretch. And the weight of your body on your feet is also compressing your feet and your ankles into the floor, stretching through the feet. Enjoy that feeling of your body giving you a massage on those joints. So the stretch here will be across the knee. It should be gentle, it shouldn't hurt, there should be no pain. Remember the breath. So we're going to start to count that breath. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 1, 2, 3. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now just settle into the breath. Take your thoughts in to yourself. Maybe visualize the stretch across the knees, the stretch in the quads, the massage on your ankles and tops of your feet. Hopefully you can get your feet long and into the floor and don't feel any pressure there. But if you're getting a bit of pressure, just try to breathe through the pressure. And just think and act with the breath. So slowing the breath down. So a couple more breaths here. So I'll talk you through them again. So in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And relax. And just come forwards. We're going to come out of the posture now. Open your eyes. Come forwards onto your hands. Take your body weight down. Forehead to the floor if you can. And then bring yourself up. Swing your legs round. And because you've been in the posture a long while, just take yourself round and stretch out your legs. And take your hands to your feet and just stretch those hamstrings. Just keep that stretch going. I will be back in a second. So breathe, keep that stretch going for me. So come out of that stretch now. So now I'd like you to take your weight off your sit bones, so moving those buttock cheeks away. And we're going into Dragonfly from here. So Dragonfly is a wide leg position, so go as wide as feels good for you. And flex the feet to start with, just get length down the hamstrings. This is stretching the hamstring and the lumbar region of our backs. So we're going to do each side very slowly. So we're going to start on the right side. So firstly, take your weight and your eye gaze over. So you're twisting a rotation from your thoracic spine here over that leg. So coming forwards very slowly. And again, these postures take a while to sink into. So just go with your breath. Eye gaze is down. Get that nice length down the back of the neck here. So soften the gaze, take the hands maybe by the side of the leg. As you slowly come down, make sure the other leg is active and working here. Just keep that active and working as you slowly soften into your pose. So you're going to get a very deep stretch around the opposite hip. That's a muscle called the QL, the quadratus lumborum. That's the one that helps us do our side bends if we're standing. And down we come. You may want to take your forehead to your knee if you can. It all depends upon our flexibility. We're all different, and some days we're tighter than others. And you can, if you wish to, take your hand to your foot if that feels good, but no pressure. Just take the time to slow down the breath and slowly come in to that stretch. And as you deepen, you may take hold of the leg and come over, and your forehead may touch the knee. But do not compromise the other hip. Try to keep the other hip down, so you may need to come back up if you feel the other hip lifting off the floor. And breathe. So again, we're going to stay in this position for a while. We slow our breath here. And as you stay in the position, the longer you stay, the easier it becomes. The breath helps you, helps the muscles to soften, to get used to the new position of the body. Make sure your feet are still active and get that feeling of the stretch down the left side of the body as you soften into the right side. And breathe. Close the eyes. Just enjoy the sensation of the stretch. And again, if you can, make your out breath longer than your in breath. That's great. So we'll do a couple of those nice breaths. In, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3,
Keep that going in your own breath, but draw your tummy in still. Don't let the belly flop forwards. It's very easy to forget the tummy muscles. But still try to engage the tummy, and that left leg is still working. But also, while you're here, actively take your shoulders back and down. They can, with the stress of being in a position for a long while, work their way up to the ears. And we want that feeling of length and softness and no stress held in the shoulders and the neck. And as you soften, you may come down a bit further. So you may come back. If you've moved, you may come onto the knee. But again, try to keep the sit bones down on both sides. So our last few breaths here, breathing in through the nose, out through the nose. So make them really good deep breaths, wide into the ribs. Breathe. And slowly push yourself up. So use your hands in an active way because you've been in a deep stretch. Just help your body. Draw the tummy in to protect the back. Walk your hands back and up. And then come back to centre. So have a breath here first of all. Maybe draw the knees together, the feet together into a wide butterfly position. Have a breath here before we do the other side. And just to stretch the spine forwards before you come into the side stretch. Just have a nice deep C curve here. So soften, that tummy's pulled in, and roll back off the sit bones. Just look down into the tummy and then come back up and lengthen again. And then take the legs back out into your wide dragonfly position. So you may even go a little bit wider on this side, it doesn't matter. I mean, it just depends how you're feeling, and you've softened the groin area quite a lot in the first activity. So again, flex the feet. And this time our rotation is to the other side, to the left-hand side. So turning round, and then gently walk yourself down, very slowly here. So there's nothing fast, it's with control, drawing the tummy in, protect the back. Make sure the opposite leg, the right leg, is active this time. And you may be tighter on the left side. You may feel it's more difficult to get down lower over the leg. It doesn't matter. It's whatever works for you. It's a very strong stretch along the hamstrings. Your left leg might be tighter than your right. Just breathe. Just rotate a bit more. Make sure your body's over the leg. The eye gaze is down towards the knee, and you've got that nice length in the spine by gently pushing the chin towards the chest to get the length down the back of the neck as we soften over the leg. Now start to breathe nice and deeply, and again you'll feel that stretch in the QL muscle down the right side this time. So just breathe through that stretch. Nothing should be sharp and shooty. If it's sharp and shooty, please stop. But if you need to stop, stop slowly. Come out of any deep activity like this deep stretch very slowly. And just draw your tummy in to protect that back still. Draw it in and gently soften over the leg. You can take your forehead to the knee if that feels good. If you can do that. Again, it depends on your flexibility. It really doesn't matter. And flexibility comes with time anyway. But the most important thing is the breath. Remember to breathe through these postures. The breath will help you to deepen if that's what you want to do. But remember to breathe slow, in through the nose, and out through the nose. Breathe away the stresses of the day. Enjoy the feeling of your body softening into the posture. The muscles lengthening. And breathe. The breath is important to take it into the muscles that you're working. So although we are stretching here, if you've got your feet nicely flexed, you've got active legs still, keeping the body active through the stretch. And breathe. You may be ready to deepen a bit. You might want to take hold of the foot, if you did on the other side, and deepen over the leg. But again, don't compromise by letting the other hip lift off the floor. So a couple more breaths here. I'll talk you through them. So breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's lovely. And gently walk yourself up. Use your hands to push you back up. Draw that tummy in and come back up slowly. That was a very deep stretch. Come back up slowly and then just give yourself a little bit of a move. Then draw those feet together in that butterfly posture. Take the spine nice and tall and long. And we're going to finish our Yin Yoga today with one other pose, and this is for the hip flexors. This is Dragon. So, from here, I'd like you to come over onto your knees. Make sure you've got your pelvis in a neutral position, so tummy poured into spine. And take that leg forward, so we're taking our right leg forward here, and our knee is over our ankle. So we'll just come forwards gently, so slowly coming forwards. This is the hip flexor stretch. So we're working the left leg here. Some people like to take their leg further forwards, but whatever works best for you. But make sure your knee is comfortable underneath you. So just get that feeling of going into that hip flexor stretch. So again, drawing the tummy in to protect the back here. And come forwards very slowly. Start to take your weight forwards and into that deep hip flexor stretch. So you may want to come down if that works for you. If not, stay up. If you're staying up, you can stay here and just gently use your body to support you. If you can come down, depending on your flexibility today, just work your way down into that deep hip flexor stretch. And you can come all the way down if that works for you today. And you might need to take your foot out a little bit just to give you the space really in the hips, just to come down to the floor. And once you're here, try to still keep your neck and head active. Don't let it flop down if possible. So just get yourself in a good position first. Just maybe move a little bit until you feel in a good position. And then draw the tummy in. So you're working the arms here as well, but most of the work is on that hip flexor. But I'd like you now to draw that chin towards your chest to get the length down the back of the neck. And again, your shoulders away from your ears. So this is a very deep hip flexor stretch. You can feel it on the opposite leg as well, in the groin area. And if it's more comfortable for you, you can take your foot out, so rotate your foot out, and that gives a bit more space to move, and you can just gently move that hip if that feels good. But if it feels okay, you can take your foot back into an aligned position so your foot is long in front of you. So breathe here. So again, that nice long neck. So draw that little chin towards your chest if you can, making a nice long spine, and breathe again. Draw that tummy in. So just working through the hip flexor here. And take your breath to the hip. Visualize the breath coming in through the nose, way down, and the breath going to that hip flexor, into that massage, into that muscle to oxygenate it. So breathe through that stretch. Lovely hip flexor stretch here. also your leg, your foot that's in the floor, into the floor, it should be nice and long if you can, relaxed. And no pain in the knee, under the hip. And a couple more breaths, we'll do a couple more together. So in, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. In, 1, 2, 3, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so again, gently come out of this. So use your hands to support you. Slowly walk yourself up, walk yourself back, and this time just come back and stretch the right leg as you come down. And just have a stretch there. Flex the foot, point the foot, flex the foot, point the foot. And then roll off that knee, come round. And we'll just have a inner groin stretch again before we do the opposite side. So this time it's going to be the right leg that we stretch the hip, so we'll come round. So gently over we come. So taking the left leg forwards, get yourself positioned nicely first of all, take the leg back as far as you want to go today, and that will be different on both sides. And just soften through the toes, make sure you've got that nice alignment here if that feels good for you. And you might want to creep your foot forwards if you feel you've got a bit more flexibility down on that right leg. So again, each side will be different, everybody's different on both sides. So just remember to breathe first of all and just feel yourself slowly getting into this posture. Again, I'd like you to think actively of taking your shoulders away from your ears, back and down, so no stress in the upper body. And breathe. And maybe lengthen that right leg away a bit more if you can. So just a deep stretch here through the hip flexor. Eradicating tightness and stress. And just breathe through. Couple of breaths before we take it a bit deeper, if that works for you today. So a couple more breaths. Close the eyes, relax. And then if you want to, you may want to take that foot on the left leg out as you climb down between the foot and stretch deeper into that hip flexor on the right leg. So again, you can straighten up that foot once you've got yourself in a good position there, or you can leave it turning out to give yourself a bit more space in the pelvis. But what works best for you. But remember, the breath is so important here. So breathe deeply and take that breath into the hip flexor. Remember to soften the shoulders, don't take stress into the shoulders. You are supporting your body, but not with any stress. It should be gentle and soft. Again, that chin tucks a little bit in, just to lengthen through the back of the neck. So make that back of the neck active, and just breathe through. This is our last posture of the day, so just breathe deeply, draw the tummy in still. Keep going, and just keep thinking of the breath, oxygenating that muscle and making it long and strong. Nice deep stretch. So we don't want tight hip flexors. And the problem is if we sit all day, they get locked into that 90-degree position and we really don't want to be lengthened. So it's really good to stretch your hip flexors. Keep the length and keep in a nice safe back as well. Because otherwise your hip flexors are pulling you forwards, which isn't good. So last couple of breaths here, so let's do it together. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that was a lovely stretch. So again, take yourself out of this really slowly. Use your hands to support you as you walk back, walking back. Take your weight back, flex the foot on that left leg as you come back, and you just sit on your knee behind you and just have a stretch here for a second. And then we're coming over onto our side. And to finish off, we'll just come round and we'll just have an inner groin stretch. And we'll draw that tummy back towards the spine in a C curve, so drawing back into a C curve. Soften the shoulders, eye gazes into the body. And then take the legs nice and long in front of you and just stretch them out. So you may want to just massage your hip flexors here. So just gently draw, keep that tummy drawn in as you lean back a little bit and just massage along the groin and the hip flexors here, up and down. So give them a nice little massage. Draw your knees in, sit up straight, tummy towards the spine. Breathe, 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 and thank your body for exercising today. Namaste.